Hi everyone, my name's Kristen. I also go by Ms.Filmingo, and thanks for clicking on this video. Today I'm happy to share my exclusive interview with Melissa Haizlip and Chris Bolan. They are the directors behind the documentary Satisfied. Satisfied is a documentary on Renée Elise Goldsberry, who you may know from starring in the Tony Award-winning musical Hamilton, which she won the Tony Award for Best Featured Actress in a Musical and a Grammy. But before we cut to my interview with Melissa and Chris, let me give you all a brief synopsis of the documentary. Satisfied explores Renée Elise Goldsberry's life-changing experience, originating the role of Angelica Schuyler in Hamilton, while simultaneously navigating her path to motherhood and balancing the competing demands of career and family. Now that you got a brief synopsis of this film, let's cut over to the interview with Melissa and Chris to learn more about this documentary. I want to start by asking you both, why did you want to make this documentary, and why did you both want to become documentary filmmakers?
Ooh,
Melissa,
that's a
you can,
two-parter.
Yes, it's
or
a
whatever.
two-part
Yeah.
question. You can answer it however you like. So, Melissa, would you like to
Oh,
go first?
sure. Well, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you again for having us. And why I wanted to make this documentary, because I think it's a beautiful story. I'm also a big Hamilton fan. I'm a musical theater kid. I'm also a producer of musicals on Broadway, and I make films. So it sort of was all of the things that I love combined. Also, I wanted to tell the story of this amazing actress, mother, human being, Renée Elise Goldsberry. It's such a, we wanted to make a nuanced portrait of her
Yeah.
and to really show a woman juggling, which is something you don't usually get to see.
No, yeah.
And then what was the second part of the question
Why
again?
did you want to get into documentary filmmaking? Why did
Documentary.
you?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I've always loved documentaries and been inspired by some of the most incredible stories. I think it's important to elevate and illuminate stories, especially people that we don't know or important subject matters. I find that documentary filmmaking is like so close to the truth and so has to be so creative in order to capture people's attention. And I think it's the place where we really see the culture and the
Yeah.
joys, challenges of life and they can also be really informative. And so I wanted to be a part of that new um, form of storytelling. It's actually an old form, but the form
Yeah.
has changed and become so cinematic.
Yes.
I'm really excited about that, being a part of this shift into character stories and beautiful cinematic arts as well, because those are all the things I'm really drawn to.
Chris, if you could elaborate too and
Yeah.
discuss why you got into documentary and why did you think it was important to tell this story?
Yeah, sure. So why was compelled to tell this story, honestly, because Renee was just so candid and honest. And I was introduced to Renee through one of our executive producers, Kelly O'Hara. And Kelly
Yeah.
and I had been talking for years about, she's a dear friend, and we were talking for years about collaborating together on something. And she was, talking about the story of women and how can we tell that story of women on Broadway and women juggling and the double standard. And then during COVID, Renee moved close to Kelly and introduced me, and we started talking, and one thing led to another, and we started on board this documentary. And
Yeah.
again, just going back to what I said initially, is that I didn't want to do a puff piece on Renee.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do a biopic. I said, to her, I was very candid. She was very candid with me. And I, just said, we want to do something that's very authentic and real. And if you want to get vulnerable and open and all of that good stuff, then I'm definitely interested. And she was. And Melissa joined the team, and we went forward with that, trying to tell her story, which is very exciting. Um, and then in terms of why I wanted to be a documentary filmmaker, honestly, I never thought I would be a documentary
Yeah.
filmmaker. I I started out as an actor and then, producer and then directing for theater. But I had a film called The Secret Love that's on Netflix. And
Yeah.
I wanted to tell the story of my two great aunts. And I fell in love with it as I was doing it. I didn't know what I was doing. Um, I kind of learned as I went. I had some amazing people help me along the way, Ryan Murphy and Jason Blum included. And I loved it. I loved kind of that fly on the wall approach and just character driven documentaries. And after that movie, I was like, I'm totally addicted to docs. I love what they do. I love, as Melissa said, lights that we can shine into corners that aren't often seen. And that's what I'm doing now, and I love it.
What was it like connecting with Renee, excuse me, and going through all the footage? Because there's a lot of footage, a lot of personal footage, iPhone footage, archival footage that she has.
Oy, a lot, Melissa.
Wow. Well, yes, that's a good question. We could talk for hours about that, literally, because you know, the thing that's so special about this film, and not only for Hamilton fans and documentary fans, but this film has such a special treat, which is Renee Elise Goldsberry's very personal vlogs, videos, photographs of her children, of all the behind the scenes of her challenges, her struggles, her joys, her triumphs. And so you can imagine we had an embarrassment of riches, as we like to say,
Yes.
because we had so much. We have the Hamilton archive, we have Renee's personal archive, we also have what was happening in the zeitgeist. And so there were levels upon levels upon levels of materials to choose from. And honestly, we took the approach of the most important pieces that would elevate our story and align with the story and
Hmm.
had to sort of earn their way into the story. So even though we had so many adorable videos of her children and all this, a plethora, not just from Renee, but from other original cast members of materials from the show itself and their own experiences, we had to figure out the arc of the story we're telling, the narrative of Renee and her journey of motherhood, putting that in the
Hmm.
foreground, and then aligning all the pieces that would amplify that story. So that was really hard. You should see us on the cutting room floor.
I
We
bet
did
it must have been
so
a lot.
much.
We have terabytes of
I'm
archival.
sure it's like
Literally.
endless diary entries of Renee's life, and I'm sure you can make a part two at this
Part
point,
two,
correct?
part three, maybe a four-part miniseries. Yeah.
I
Yes,
mean, people would
director's
watch,
cut.
including me. If you had more, if you had given us more time, I would be watching and I would be glued to the screen. So, what was your collaboration process like? I'm sure you guys had, different ideas for one part, maybe for one scene, or elaborating on that. What was your collaboration process like?
Well, I can jump in and then Melissa, take it from there. I'll say that what attracted me to Melissa originally was that, we both came from a theater background.
Hmm.
We both had experience doing theater, producing theater, acting in theater, all of that. And theater, doing theater is just intrinsically collaborative. And so
Hmm.
that's what I really loved about Melissa's background and what she did with her previous film. And so we tried to bring that through to our collaboration with this. It's tricky because you always have different ideas. But
Hmm.
I always said, and I get scared actually when everyone is agreeing all the time
Hmm.
because I think that's when that it's dangerous because you're all agreeing and that means it's probably not going to end up being very good. So, we all wrestled with each other in an artistic way that I think was productive for the film. Our editors, Melissa, me, our producers, all of it. We were just all invested in really trying to tell the best story that we could.
Hmm.
Yeah, and if I could just add to that,
Yeah,
I'm piggybacking on that. I just want to say that our biggest collaborator was Renee,
yeah,
because Renee wanted to tell a specific story, and so we had to prioritize that and the importance of her family, the importance of her journey, and of all of her um, incredible collaborations with her friends and artists that made this amazing Hamilton. I don't even know what to call it. Experience
sensation,
because it's so much more.
sensation.
It's more than just a musical. So, she was the biggest collaborator of all and leading us in what was important to her. And so it was important. So no matter what we wanted to do creatively, artistically, cinematically, we always put her needs first. And
Yeah.
that was pretty much the joy of being able to work with her and the fact that she trusted us and knew that we would put her needs first because this is her story. It could have gone any number of ways. And we actually had a lot of different ideas in the beginning, but, trying to honor her because this is ultimately her story and it's her family, it's her children, it's her
Yeah.
husband. And so that was like the biggest priority to be true to that.
And there's a lot of wonderful people in the doc. She has her family, her children, her theater teacher, but of
Yeah.
course, Lin-Manuel Miranda's in it. I'm sure it was just easy getting him in, saying yes to the doc. Let me praise my co-star. What was it like working and bringing all these wonderful people that involve in Renee's life?
I mean, they were all incredibly amazing. it was very difficult, not because they didn't want to, but because they're all very now, all of them are highly successful people in
Yes,
life, their
which is
careers,
great. Which is
and
great.
just trying to pin them down was tough. But
Yeah.
they were. I mean, Lynn's amazing. I mean, he's amazing. Ariana DeBose sits down with us. She's amazing, and all the cast who, we really try to focus it on Renee. Otherwise, it was going to get too disjointed. I mean, they're all amazing, all of them, right?
Yeah.
But the film can only hour 20 can only hold so much.
Yeah.
But they were so generous. The Hamilton family, Jeffrey Seller, the producers, Tommy Kail. I mean, everybody around the Public Theater, Oscar Eustis. I mean, it goes on and on because they love Renee. They gave us all this footage. They let us use things for free, which
Oh,
is just so unbelievably generous because for a little indie doc like ours, we just don't have big budgets to be able to
yeah.
buy all these things, right? So it's a testament to Renee and who she is because they because of their love for her, um, they were very generous, and we had to earn that trust with them.
Yeah.
So we were in constant contact with the Miranda team and ensuring that they saw stuff. Lynn saw a rough cut that was terrifying. I don't know about you, Melissa, but I was like the two people that scared. Oh, actually, Renee was the scariest to send because you're like, oh
Oh,
my God, I hope she likes it.
yeah,
Was
Yeah,
yeah.
we hope
Steven
you like
Spielberg
our
and
depiction of your life.
yeah, and then Steven Spielberg and then Lin-Manuel Miranda. Now those are two other pretty scary people to watch it. But
Yeah.
they were all very supportive, which is great.
Oh, fantastic. And I know we have to wrap up soon, but I wanted to ask one thing. But besides making a documentary on the incredibly talented Renee, if you could make a documentary on any other Broadway icon, who would it be? I know this year we had Liza Minnelli because that was a great documentary. I'm not sure if you guys saw that. That was also very good. But who
It's
else?
very good.
Yeah, who would you like to make a documentary on?
Kevin Bacon for me. Not he's not a Broadway, but I've been thinking about Kevin Bacon.
I love Kevin Bacon. Oh
So, and
my God.
I want to do something on Kevin. So, Kevin, if you're listening, I'd love to do a documentary on you. Melissa,
I would say Audra McDonald.
yeah,
And not because she
Yay!
just because she's involved in as an executive producer on our show. I was on Gypsy and she was amazing on Gypsy, but really to think that she's like the most lauded theatrical performer of our time, and yet she's so young and so humble and so incredibly, multidisciplinary artist that I would love to see her story told and I wouldn't mind telling it.
I'm
So
surprised
she's
Audra,
there hasn't been
amazing.
a documentary on either of those people yet, honestly, for both
this
knowing
is our
incredible
this is our
award.
pitch.
Yes, this is the pitch. I don't know them, but hopefully good vibes go out to the universe and they see your incredible directions and they'll say, okay, Chris, okay, Melissa, make this happen. All right, and then one final question, if you don't mind. Describe Renee in 3 words, if you could.
Oh.
Authentic,
Mm-hmm.
courageous, grateful.
Mm.
Yeah.
Beautiful, faithful, and extremely talented. I know that's 2 words, but
Yeah,
put
that's
a
okay.
hash in between,
Yeah,
dash in
that's
between.
okay. That's okay. But thank you, Chris. Thank you so much, Melissa, for your time. It was a great
Oh,
honor to check the documentary out again, and I can't wait to see what you both do next.
thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Kristen, for your support.
Yeah, so that's going to wrap up my interview with Chris and Melissa. Check out Satisfied in theaters starting September 30th through October 2nd. This also wraps up today's video. Please be sure to like, comment, and share this interview. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so I can bring you more videos like this. And don't forget to follow me on social media. The links will be provided down below. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!